I want to make you guys cry even more with this tragic story of this sister, Adriana Smith, a young pregnant sister who was declared brain dead back in February. But because of Georgia's abortion laws, where they can't end the pregnancy, they had to keep her alive for months before they could deliver the baby, who came out 1.5 pounds. It's a tragic story. Get more Kleenex. Get the whole box. Let's run this video.
April, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. I want to ask first, how are you doing?
I'm doing as well as possible. It's a very, very tough situation for me and my family. It's just unbelievable, and we have a lot of emotions. So it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot.
You had some new information. We had a new addition to the family come just last week. Adriana's son was born.
Yes. Chance was born by emergency C-section on Friday about 4:41 a.m. And he's fighting. He's in the NIC unit. He's about 1 pound, 13 ounces. And he's expected to be okay. He's just fighting. Yeah. We just want prayers for him. Yeah. Just keep praying for him. He's here now.
That was the mother of the sister who passed away. So the grandmother of this 1.5 pound baby is, Dimitri knows the baby's supposed to be around 7-8 pounds. So that is a teeny tiny preemie. They say that the baby, the boy, should pull through, but God only knows what's going to happen to him coming out so early, coming out so small. He's missed really important moments of development. And of course, he's missing his mother. You know, I mean, he has his grandmother who loves him and is clearly putting her life aside for him. But my God, he's missing his mother. And this is insane. And you see the way that the woman, Lauren, loses control of her body in the way that Republicans want to do abortion.
Are you coming to me? I'm sorry. Yes, I'm still trying to get my tears back. Doc worked me up. I was trying to hold it back. Then the story came on. I'm like, Lauren, pull it together now. Take deep breaths. This is a very difficult case because this beautiful baby is here fighting for its life. And now this family, right, is mourning the loss of their daughter, but now trying to figure out how to best take care of this baby. As I have researched, I don't see where the medical fund that was provided by the state, where is it? Is it there? And any of us who have been through medical issues with family members or with ourselves know how absolutely positively financially it's the destruction is just, people don't understand. And while I understand that the baby's life at this point is our most important thing that we need to be focused on, I think this entire cycle that we've watched happen it's a tale that we need to be very careful that will continue to occur if we don't get out and pay attention to what we're doing politically, make sure we're out on those polls. I hate to take it back to that, but you guys, this is scary. I think about the long lasting effects of this child. And you know, like I said, I'm trying to get my thoughts together because I'm also holding back tears because I had an emergency C-section. Ooh. So that feeling of that moment where it's you're in a natural process and then the hospital takes over. Now, while I was not in the position of this beautiful young woman where I lost my life, trust me, in that moment, I didn't know if I would or if I wouldn't, right? Because of what we talked about in our last segment, the mistrust and not understanding. When those lights start flashing and people start moving fast and you need this and the baby's heart is dropping and you gotta go here. You don't know if you're coming out. And as a mother, I didn't know. I just hope that my baby did. And thank God we were both okay. But this is so scary. I don't really have a great word to say.
There was a moment when you didn't know if you would make it?
No, I didn't know because of, as we talked about in the last segment, when the machine takes over, and trust, I don't want to demonize the medical profession because they're amazing doctors, but there's a moment, if you've ever been in the hospital for anything, and I had never been a person that ever stayed in the hospital overnight for anything. I've never even broken an arm or a leg. So me giving birth to my son was my very first experience in the hospital. And when I had my plan, and I'm going to have a natural birth, and the family can be in the room, and you write your plan. And the next thing you know, everything starts going to plan. And you're hearing everything you say, how in record numbers, they give Black women C-sections, right? And that's not always the healthy thing to do. And then they're calling for the emergency C-section. And you're trying to say, is it really an emergency? And then they're shooting you with the epidural. And then they're getting you ready. And you got these people. And if you're like me, where I'm trying to figure everything out, and then I realize in that moment, I'm almost helpless.
Yeah.
They're about to do to me what they feel they need to do to me. Yeah. And it is fearful. It is scary as hell. And everybody's putting on the bonnets. And my husband, CJ's dad, is getting dressed, and my dad runs out and he's too scared. Oh God. And you don't know if you're coming out. Yeah. And I think people don't really understand that as women, especially as Black women. Because a lot of times where we're giving birth or where we are, not everyone there looks like us or maybe values us. You don't know. You don't know.
We see here, Black women, pregnancy-related deaths, way off the charts. White women, 13 per 100,000. Black women, 40. I mean,
And can I just say this one last point? Because I want to bookend it with something, because I think it's important. Because of that, that's why for me, often we don't want to stay in the hospital. And that's also sometimes contrary to our health needs. And we need to be cognizant of that. And I would love to do more shows on medical advocacy, because when I had that C-section, the rule was when you could walk around the hospital unit pushing your baby, you could be released.
Right.
I did that within 36 hours after I gave birth, because I wanted to leave.
Wow.
Right.
Now, I don't know if that was contrary to my health, but I'm just being very honest here. I wanted to leave.
Lauren, because this is happening in Georgia and it's a legal issue, I want to bring back in Gerald Griggs, attorney, Georgia native, president of the NAACP in Georgia. So you're just speaking to this issue in so many different ways. I just wonder what this story brings up for you. This sister who's forced by their abortion law to have a 1-pound baby, the neurological and physical issues that this baby will have through its childhood, God only knows. It's a horrendous story for the family, but it's also extremely frightening. And it's not only happening to this family.
Absolutely. And this is the third African-American female in the last year that we've heard about this. Amber Thurman, Candy Miller, and now Adriana Smith. And my heart goes out to her family to go through this type of horrific experience that could have been prevented. Georgia is one of the few states in the nation that has a draconian six-week abortion ban. And there's been litigation around that to stop this. And for the governor and the attorney general to tell the hospital that the abortion ban has nothing to do with this is the actual reason why the hospital kept her on life support, so they would not violate the law and be subject to criminal prosecution and civil sanctions. And Black maternal mortality is through the roof in the state of Georgia. Like I said, I just named 3 women in the last year, 2 of which are national cases. And now Adriana has gotten into that same atmosphere. And so we want to continue to support her family. They do have a GoFundMe they've set up. It's made over $400,000 to be able to support.
How do we find that GoFundMe?
You said what?
How do we find the GoFundMe?
You just search Adriana Smith, and I'll give you the link on the internet. But this family is already incurring millions of dollars in medical bills, and this young baby who's now in the NIC unit, as somebody who has experienced a child being in the NIC unit, someone who's experienced an emergency C-section, waking up 2:00 in the morning. My wife is coding or whatever that noise was, and I'm having to put on clothes, and we go down there and they start the medical procedures. This is one of the scariest moments of my life as a Black man, as a father. And so we have to lift this family up, and we have to do something about these laws, because a woman should have bodily autonomy. And in many southern states and around the country, that is just not a fact that they have anymore. And so, in Georgia, we lift up this family, but we have to remember this is preventable. This should have never happened.
Yes.
And now we have a child that will grow up without his mother, because of the laws here in the state of Georgia.
And you wonder how many people, Cheyenne, that we don't even hear of that this happens to. But go on, what are you thinking about?
I just wanted to, just what my sis, Judge Lauren, said as far as a C-section, Black women are 40% more likely to be forced into C-section. Studies have found that many of those C-sections could have been natural births, and that they're doing it because C-sections pay more when it comes to billing insurance, which again is negligence. And we have attorneys on the show today, and it is a huge lawsuit if that is proven to be the reason for having someone be forced into a C-section. Black women die 3 to 4 times are more likely to die giving birth than white women. And so when you look at those studies and those stats, yeah, you're damn right that you have Black women who are, like Judge Lauren said, afraid not only just to go to the doctors, but ain't trying to stay overnight. My mother had back surgery. One day, the next day I go, she all of a sudden has a blood clot in her lungs. Why is it that she has blood clots in her lungs? Why is it that her room is the only room that has trash cans and trash? Oh, I went fucking bananas in that hospital. And when I say fucking bananas, to the point where they end up having it to where my mama was able to come home, and they sent a physician home to take care of her in her house, because I went crazy with lawsuits, with NAACP letterheads of call of actions and issues that we have. But this goes back to the point I made with my father. Advocacy. We have to advocate for ourselves. We have to advocate for our family members. We have to advocate for our loved ones. You have to have somebody who's in there in a sane mind that can say, this is some bullshit. This is not okay. This is negligence. And why is it that this room is not up to care? Why is it that you have a person here who has let's just say who has staph infection with a person who doesn't, when we know staph is something that is completely contagious and can kill somebody? You have to have folks in there who advocate. Within our Black community, we are very, very supportive on a lot of things. But when it comes to the healthcare and medical treatment, we don't always know how to advocate. We always feel like we are not in the position to advocate, and we feel like we are at the hands of the doctor. We have the right to say, absolutely no, I'm not going to receive that care. I have more questions before you provide that injection or that care or that longevity of stay for my child. Absolutely fucking not. I have more questions. I want a second opinion. I want a third person in this room. And I want you to make it clear to me what you're treating. What are the results of it? What are the side effects of it? And what does this look like for aftercare? We don't ask questions, and we're not advocating for each other.
These are important questions, Dimitri. We also have to understand that the doctors are told you're only supposed to spend a certain amount of time with each patient. So they are on the clock as soon as they walk in your room and expected to move on to the next room very quickly.